This is the Weekly Set, the official podcast of TVEnthusiast.com. Episode 67, recorded July 28th, 2016. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Set podcast. This is the official podcast of TVEnthusiast.com. I am your host, Tyson Gifford, and joining me today, as always, is our keeper of comics here at TVE, Will Rowrick.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about BrainDead, Mr. Robot, and we're going to talk about the Season 2 finale of Peaky Blinders. Yes. We're 2/3 of the way through that series.
Wow. Yeah, so some exciting stuff.
Yeah, some exciting stuff on all accounts, I think. So let's kick things off with BrainDead. So the episode we're talking about isn't the current week's episode, it's the week before that. Or actually 2 weeks before that because they took a week off, I think, so.
Yeah, took a week off.
It's an eventful episode, though.
It is a pretty eventful episode. What I like about this episode is I think it brings into more clarity what the Bug's agenda is here, and you come to realize. I mean, you might have been suspecting it before, but the realize is that it seems like the aliens are out to divide and conquer. Mm-hmm. They're using the political polarization that already exists in this country, getting into people's brains to crank that up to 11 to turn people against each other in what is becoming an increasingly more violent manner than before, you know? Like, people are starting to get violent now.
Making blogs about how to build bombs.
Yeah, making blogs about talking about revolution.
And the one clear sign, like the first, I think, well, probably the second clear sign that they had in this episode that says, okay, these bugs aren't just amping up the people's personal feelings as our protagonists were suspecting, but that they're actually working as like a hive mind unit towards some goal, is that when they were going to attempt to get the information or get samples from the main character, I can't think of her name, the main character's friend,
yeah,
she just jumped out a window.
Yeah, she just jumped out head first too, to make sure that she splattered her brains all over so that there was nothing for them to find.
Yeah. So that was I think the only other time we've had kind of evidence of that are the times in which the bugs have tried to infect other people by like bringing them plants or, you know, whatever. But even then you could just kind of suggest that, you know, like, oh, the bugs are just trying to, you know, bring in other bugs and so they have a food source rather than them trying to actually have some kind of impact towards a plan. So this is like, okay, yeah, there's no way they're not working together under some higher intelligence.
Yeah, no, there's no way they're not working together. You can see this because, you know, you could also see an example of that when they hold the emergency vote.
That was really funny.
That was really funny. There's like 3 people. There's like this old guy. He has to keep like nudging him. That was really fun. They're holding that emergency vote, you know, and they got the two party leaders there who are both bug infected, you know. They got them on a talk show screaming at each other to distract them so that they can hold this vote. Which was really, really brilliant because it worked like a charm. But you can see that because the secretary there, who is also bug infected, she notices on C-SPAN that the vote is happening, and she texts, you know, the one woman there who's the head of the Democrats, who's also bug infected. You know, so you can tell they're working together. The bugs are, you know, they're like, okay.
I also really liked in this episode how they went over the kind of the symptoms of somebody who's bug infected being like, their lack of balance and the hearing in their ear.
I like how they keep fleshing out how this works, like how like what this is all about. You know, like there's a rhyme and a reason to it. Like people are off balance, yeah, they're hard of hearing because their eardrum got punctured.
It's hilarious watching them, like when they'll talk about that and then they'll cut to a shot of somebody walking right into a wall.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And now it looks like our main character, our main protagonist, she got close to this FBI detective, this FBI agent, and just as soon as she got close to him, it looks like he may be bug infected now by the end of the episode.
I think they're going to play against that. I think that's a setup. I think they're going to give some other reason for his hearing. They already said he was a soldier.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to say something about, oh yeah, I lost my hearing in that year in the war, you know?
Right.
But I think it's a red herring. But it's kind of like a moment of like, oh shit, you know?
It's kind of like an oh shit moment. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, BrainDead continues to be good. I got the next episode sitting on my DVR. I don't know if it's available yet for you.
It is. Actually, it was on Amazon when I went to watch this one. So
okay, cool. So yeah, the episodes are going to be available. We'll continue to watch these. Let's move on now. Let's talk a little bit about Mr. Robot. So all the fun of BrainDead, not so much in Mr. Robot. This was a very dark episode.
Yeah, this was yeah. It's interesting to me. What's funny to me is or interesting, I guess not funny, is like how this is increasingly becoming more and more like a horror movie. And like I guess the way it's presented, and it, you know, it's interesting how sharp the tone turns to like something more resembling a horror film than anything.
Yeah, like psychological horror.
Yeah, psychological horror. Yeah, even like, oh man, it's so good. Why is it so good? I just loved Elliot's struggle to get rid of Mr. Robot. You know, like he takes the Adderall, like he pops it like it's Pez, you know, just to get rid of him. And oh my God, the nightmare he has where he's abducted and they're like pouring cement down his throat, and then he pukes up all the pills because Mr. Robot put that in his head just to get him to puke up the pills. And then he's digging through his puke, grabbing the pills and like swallowing them back down. That was pretty disgusting, actually. Yeah. Another thing was like when the whole sequence when he was on the Adderall and like
he was all manic.
Yeah, he was all manic and shit. He's like, I haven't slept for 5 days, and then he's like. And like he's getting excited at like freaking basketball and like Seinfeld and like the religious meetings, you know. He's all
getting into it. Yeah,
he's all getting into it, getting into everything.
It's kind of weird because it's kind of funny because he's so manic and stuff, but you know that crash is coming.
Yep.
And when it does, it hits hard.
And like
I think the real effect of that was when he was again at the religious meeting.
Yeah, and then he just goes on that rant, you know. And it's supposed to be him saying this stuff in his mind, like in the first season when he's with the therapist and he gives that rant about society, but that happens inside of his head. He doesn't. This time he vocalizes it. Yeah. And then he's like, as he looks around and everybody's just looking at him with disgust, he's like, did I say that out loud? Tell me I didn't say that out loud.
Yeah. So he's just kind of screwing up he's set up all these kind of like support systems in a way, you know, like this as like a means of him like keeping busy to kind of keep these influences out of his head. And now he's like on the path of destroying all of them.
Yeah, now he's on exactly. The guy, I forget the actor. He's like the comedian there.
Craig Robinson?
Craig Robinson, yeah, his character is interesting. He seems like a normal, well-adjusted dude until you realize that he is actually like some creepy guy who is involved in I don't know what. But like but we see a scene where he's talking to this guy who has been assaulted or something happened, and he's telling him he'll take care of it. You know, he's got something in it for him. He's got to pay him. Then he goes and gets in the van with the guy he had assault the other guy he was just talking to.
Yeah.
And you realize this is actually like a really sinister dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
he's looking for somebody with Elliot's skill set.
He's looking for somebody with Elliot's skill set, yeah. Which is why he's talking to Elliot. Or why he seems to be so interested in Elliot.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. His character in general, the whole scene with him on the dialysis machine, where like you think he's talking to somebody. When I saw the machine and him talking, I thought like, oh, it's going to be like his wife and she's like in a coma.
No, I knew it was going to be nobody. I knew it was going to be nobody. Like, intuitively, I knew, because it was just creepy how they had him talking, but they didn't show who he was talking to, and there was no voice, like, answering him back.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be somebody in a coma.
I didn't know who it was going to be. I just kept thinking, it's going to be nobody. It's going to be nobody. And it turned out to be nobody.
Yeah, he's like, talking to himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be doing that because he's crazy like Elliot would, but more because he's like, it's his morning process, which is interesting because, you know, from what we know, he did have a wife that was kind of referenced and she passed away and now he's kind of on his own. And so he's kind of a complex character because even though we know that there's something kind of dark going on with him and his involvement with this, at the same time, he also seems to be not like just an out and out villain, you know? He just kind of has his own self-interest.
Yeah. He's again, nobody's an out and out villain except for maybe Evil Core, you know?
The company itself.
Or maybe the company herself, or maybe even Mr. Robot, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Robot continues to be a really good show.
Oh my God, I love it.
Very different this season than last season.
It has morphed into a very different show. At first that made me like very uncomfortable, but I think that's the point. Yeah. You know, I think. What do you think
about the female FBI agent that they?
Oh yeah, that's her. She's interesting to me. For some reason, she's very lonely. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why a professional woman as good looking as her has problems getting a man, but
she probably has like trust issues.
Yeah,
probably. This is the Mr. Robot world.
Yeah,
I think everyone has trust issues.
Yeah.
I like how her best friend seems to be her Alexa, her Amazon Echo.
Yeah. Her Alexa is like, yeah, that's her Amazon Echo, and it's like, that's her best friend, and like, she's clearly very lonely because she's watching the fucking Bachelor or some shit, you know, and like crying to herself, and like, and then she's like having sex chats with random people on the internet and like freaking rubbing one out. So I'm like, okay, yes, you are acting like a nerd virgin.
So speaking of her, we got to see how competent she is as an agent, and that relates directly to another big thing that happened in this episode, which is we got to kind of see the origin of F Society, where the like carnival grounds that they are based on came from, and the name, you know, that we knew that where the name came from the carnival grounds, but we got to kind of see the origins of those carnival grounds. And we got to see that the character that we'd seen in the first season, the one that Mr. Robot, or I guess Elliot, threatened with a gun in the first season, you know, he got killed. He got taken out. So there seems to be somebody targeting F Society, and there's a debate going on amongst the members of F Society that are still around, whether this is like
you don't know who did this. Is this the Dark Army? Did Elliot do this? Did like Mr. Robot do this?
Was this Evil Corp, or was this the I can't remember what the group's called, that Chinese hacking group?
I think they just call them the Dark Army.
That's it, the Dark Army. So is it the Dark Army? Is it F Society being like Elliot? Is it Evil Corp? Yeah. What is this?
Again, you don't know. That's the beauty of this. Like, anybody could have done this in this show. Like the show is set up like there's not really anybody you can 100% rule out to be responsible for this.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of got like that little bit of corruption in them, at least a little. And, I mean, you know, we got to see, Elliot's childhood friend. We saw, I think it was last episode where we saw how she's just kind of completely drunk the Evil Corp Kool-Aid now. And we got to see that even more now when she had her meeting with the lawyer. And she's like, you know, I'm just gonna stay at Evil Corp. So you mean the company that killed your parents?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay with it.
She seems to like be just like dead inside, you know? She's like, she she keeps reciting like these mantras and stuff, and you can tell like her to me, she has no emotion in her face whatsoever. She has no emotion in anything she does. She is just numb to the world, apparently, you know, working for this company that she hated.
And now it's like her whole life.
And now it's like her whole life. And, you know, she is definitely a very different character from season 1 as well. And
yeah, the whole tone of the show is completely different from season 1. The way the characters are presented is completely different. I'd say the only character that seems to be pretty much the same is Darlene.
Yeah, Darlene seems to be pretty much the same. Other than that, yeah, the characters are completely different. We still don't know what's going on with Tyrell Wellick. We know he's alive.
Well, we think.
I don't know.
It is Elliot that got the phone call after all.
That's true. That could be figment of Elliot's imagination. Phone call.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to know where that stands. I mean, we also got in this episode a kind of surprising death. We had 2 surprising deaths, but one at the end with Elliot's old boss.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was actually the last episode that aired.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was this episode. So, yeah, he actually got off first. And then, so that was actually the first death. We actually saw who killed him.
Yeah, that was the end of the last episode. That's right. They were dealing with that this episode.
They were dealing with that this episode. We actually saw who killed him, some random guy. So, yeah. It might mean that the Dark Army is behind these attacks, because the guy who killed I can't remember his name, Jesus. But that guy was obviously not a member of SSI. He could have been working for Evil Corps too, but I don't know why Evil Corps would want that guy dead.
Just maybe because they have suspicions of how he's connected, or just because they're cleaning up, or just cutting all the loose ends off.
He could be related to them, or he could be he could be a member of the Dark Army,
or it could be just a completely unrelated murder,
or it could just be completely unrelated to anything. About the show, another thing about the show is that I learned is like you can't really like look at things and expect it to be like a plot thread that's like going somewhere. A lot of stuff in this just like happens and then it's forgotten about.
Yeah.
Like the whole like thing with Tyrell Wellick's plan or something, and Joanna's plan through season 1, that kind of like really fell off the radar. Like it's not even a thing anymore.
I think it'll come back.
It kind of like went nowhere, and then now we're like way off of that not even being a thing.
I think it'll come back because they do have kind of a role for Tyrell and Joanna in this season.
Yeah,
they've already started establishing, so I think it's going to come back into the fold. I think what the show is doing, and it's something that, you know, a lot of shows do that kind of pace things out a bit. I think Breaking Bad's done it a few times. The Wire did it. Game of Thrones has done it, where they'll take like a plot thread and just kind of leave it dangling for a while, and then like out of nowhere it comes right back. Like what Game of Thrones did a lot this year with just characters that showed up that you haven't seen in a while. You know, we finally got closure to like, you know, the whole Walder Frey thing, that all that kind of stuff, and that whole side of the story we hadn't seen in like 2 seasons. So I think it's the kind of thing that will come back. Who knows if we'll get anything on it even this season. But I think they're definitely going to follow up more on Joanne and her role because she was really interesting. So that's Mr. Robot. Let's move on now and let's talk about our show club. This is the season 2 finale of Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, this was a pretty great finale. It had everything in it. And, okay, so second time in a row, Inspector Campbell gets shot by a woman in the finale of the show. This time seems to be more permanent than the last time. But yeah, that's funny. That's funny how that happens twice.
Second time in a row, he deserved it completely.
Yeah, I know, and he deserved it completely too.
God, and he still came off like a loser, talking about like how, you know, there's a part of her that wanted him, and
I know, Jesus.
God, it's like still coming off like a creep. It's like, really?
That was cringe as hell. I was like, oh man, good riddance to that guy. Oof.
The ending is popping into my mind, and I want to talk about it, but let's talk about other stuff that went on.
Okay, yeah.
So, Thomas got Arthur out of jail. It seemed to be that he pulled strings with Alfie to do that. That seems to have been the case. Alfie was trying to basically hold Thomas captive in a way as a means of like securing a contract, basically giving 100% of their business to him. But Thomas played it pretty smart. He made it very clear that he like went to tie his shoelaces in this building, and he brought like a pin for a grenade. You know, we don't even know if he actually left a grenade. Like,
right.
As the audience, we don't even know.
That was an awesome scene, you know, and like, just because of the performances, because Tom Hardy is such a boss in that role. And you know, the performances really made that scene for me. Because Tom Hardy, you know, his character, he in that situation, he's really cocky. He's like, you know, oh, you know, you're going to give me 100% of your business. You know, I own you, you know, and he's like, well, no, I set a grenade, and he's trying to figure out, and now Alfie is trying to figure out if he's bluffing or not.
Uh-huh.
You know, like really, you know, and his lieutenant there is like freaking out through the entirety of it, you know. He's like,
you're acting like a child. This is man.
This is man's business. He gets pissed off. You're like, you're acting like a child. This is man's business. Go sit in the corner like a child. You know, you could tell. You can tell that he's got the entire situation under control now from Alfie, to the point where, you know, he gets everything he wants.
Mm-hmm. So they finally end up working out a compromise on the amount of money that they're splitting. Tommy leaves, meets up with, Arthur and, that one guy from the Lee clan that they always show as kind of their, their representative to them or whatever. And they take off to start enacting their plans for the racetrack. So one thing I can say about the whole racetrack thing is I'm surprised that we didn't get closure on Sabini.
I'm not, because I think that Sabini is going to now be the focus of season 4.
Or season 3. We haven't seen yet.
Oh yeah, season 3. God damn.
I'm kind of surprised. I thought this is going to be part of his plan. He was just going to take them all out. He did kind of put Sabini out of business, though. He has, the one, person who's taking care of his horse has connections with, the people that give out the gambling licenses, and they went and burned all of Sabini's old licenses. Yay, pre-internet era.
Yeah, I know, right?
So now there's no record of them having these business licenses, and when they reapply for them, they're going to be turned down, and that means the Peaky Blinders own the gambling.
Yep, pretty much. It was a pretty brilliant scheme.
Even using the moment where Tommy had to do an assassination as a way of creating a distraction to basically force all the police officers.
Yeah, you knew he had to do that assassination. It was supposed to be done at this guy's home. He fixed it so that he would have to do it at the racetrack just so he could use that as part of his plan to take over Sabini's. Tommy is a genius, I tell you.
That was really cool, just watching him kind of put that all together.
It was really cool how Chief Inspector Campbell hired the Red Right Hand to go after Tommy. You know, it's like the guy they talk about in the theme song.
and they even played the theme song a bit there to kind of remind you.
To kind of remind you, yeah.
So yeah, the Irish come after Tommy. They put him in a car. He's quickly realizing, okay, these aren't just the police. They're going to kill me. They take him out to the middle of nowhere where a grave is dug. Tommy thinks he's going to die. The whole time I'm watching, all I can think is like, where's the Deus Ex Machina coming from?
Yeah, where's the Deus Ex Machina? Yeah, I know. I kept thinking that too, because it seemed like it was one of those situations where they wrote themselves into a corner. Like they have to either kill Tommy off or have something completely unbelievable happen. You know, it's like it's one or the other.
Surprise, surprise, there was no Deus Ex Machina. They killed Tommy.
Yeah.
He's dead.
He's dead. Yeah. Turns out his brother is the star of the next season now.
Until the 4th season. That's the zombie season.
That's the zombie season. No, there's a bit of a Deus Ex Machina where it's 3 guys. All right. So they're all working together. They're all skilled, supposedly working together. Apparently one of them is working for Churchill and kills the other 2 and takes Tommy under Churchill's service for some mission that Churchill has in mind for Tommy.
You can see Churchill's already just completely abandoned Chester Campbell, and it's like,
yeah.
The real asset here is Tommy. I'm moving on to him.
Pretty much.
So yeah,
Grace came back. We all know Tommy had sex with the Grace last episode. Apparently now she's pregnant. There was some baby mama drama there. There was also some drama with his new squeeze and Grace.
May, his new squeeze May, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know her name. I kind of zoned out at that part because I really did not care. But
about the baby mama drama.
Yeah, the baby mama, the whole Grace confronting May. It's yeah, I don't care about this part. Let's get back. Yeah, he doesn't get to one of the big moments in this is he confronts Sabini, with his plan. He's I've taken over your racetracks, and it looks like he's about to pull off a Tommy Shelby masterstroke and pull one completely over on Sabini when the Red Right Hand comes in dressed as cop, dressed as police, and takes Tommy away. Sabini thinks these are officers working under him. Of course, he's completely clueless that these are actually special agents Chester Campbell sent to kill Tommy to finish the job. But they take him away. Sabini gloats, that Sabini gloats that Tommy hasn't won.
Yeah.
Which leaves the door open for Sabini to continue to be a pain in the ass in season 3.
Yeah, it's leaving that open. I am a little surprised about that, just because, season 1 kind of ended with, I feel a little bit more resolution in that area as far as Billy Kimber. But then again, season 1 had 2 villains, and that there was Billy Kimber and then there was Chester Campbell, and Chester Campbell survived. And then season 2 had 2 in the form of Sabini and Chester Campbell, and Chester Campbell seems to not have survived. It'll be kind of funny if he does survive and then he's shot by another woman next season.
That'll be every season. He just gets shot by some woman he pissed off. And
just over and over again.
Just over and over and over again.
Next season 28, and he's just looks like Swiss cheese.
I was I can't believe this happened again.
Maybe I should stop pissing off women. Nah. That can't be the problem.
That can't be the issue at all.
Tommy wrote a scathing letter, in case something happens to me situation. Gave it to Ada, in which he described his plan and why he couldn't even reveal his plan to his family, really putting Chester Campbell under the bus. The letter didn't have to go out. I kind of wonder, because his sister Ada, who he gave it to, is a little unpredictable as a character. So who knows if she, didn't just send it off anyways or did something stupid. I could see that maybe coming into play next season, that, this comes out and it's not something he wanted to come out because he survived and he didn't want all that to come out, but he gets screwed over by his sister because she's a little unpredictable.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe, yeah. He wrote that in case he died. He wrote that in case he died specifically to screw over Campbell. Literally, he was preparing for it.
Sending it to the New York Times, which is smart because it's huge paper, but it's outside of British jurisdiction. But yeah, it's been really good. I'm trying to think of other things that happened. So Polly gave her son a whole bunch of money and said, get on a train and leave. You can come for holidays and, send mail or whatever, but get out. I don't want you in this lifestyle. He sticks around at the very end. Tommy talks to him and basically says, Polly and I had a bet about if you'd take the money and go or not. It seems to imply that Polly actually was hoping he'd stay, but never really directly says that. That seems to be what Michael thinks. Yeah. Polly's son. But Tommy doesn't really confirm that. He just says, I don't know what Polly wants.
Yeah, I don't know what Polly wants, yeah. There was also the Lizzie, or Izzy? Is it something Izzy? There was a point where Tommy tries to set her up so he can get her alone with his target.
May.
May, okay.
Was it May? It was his secretary, right?
Oh, it was his secretary, yeah.
That's
May.
Right. I'm getting confused here.
Oh, jeez. It's starting to confuse me a little bit. Yeah, he uses her to get this guy alone. He thinks it's going to be okay because nothing's actually going to happen before he can get in there and shoot this guy in the head. Unfortunately, he didn't count on this guy being a gigantic fucking creepy asshole and just not even messing around with the foreplay. Just like, okay, I'm just going to rape you.
Yeah, right to the rape.
Yeah, right, straight to the rape. It's like, whoa. That really messes her up pretty badly.
Tommy also didn't count on the fact that because the king was there, certain parts of the track were going to be closed off, and so he had to take the long way around to finally get to her. Then he shoots his gun and it's empty. It's the gun that he got from Chester, I believe. So, and it's empty. So it's like, okay, that was useless. Has to wrestle with the guy and kill him with his own gun. But yeah, this is kind of like the one kink in Tommy's plan.
Yeah.
But still works out in the end. Still gets what he needed to get done. Ends up surviving despite Chester Campbell's best efforts. Chester Campbell, we really don't know. It looks like he's gone. But, that would ruin his streak of getting shot by women at the end of a season.
Yeah, I know.
So that's pretty much it for Peaky Blinders Season 2. So if you want to watch along with us, we watch one episode a week. So next week we'll be talking about Season 3, Episode 1. There are only 6 episodes a season, so there have only been 12 so far. If you want to send us a comment about that or any of our other stories, send it to theweeklyset@TVEnthusiast.com or contact@TVEnthusiast.com. Or you could just leave a comment in our comment section of our articles, on our YouTube page, and pretty much any way you can get in touch with us. You can reach me on Twitter. I'm at Tyson Gifford. You can reach Will on Twitter. He's at Voxel Hero. And that's it. So thank you everybody for listening. Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to voice your opinion, send an email to theweeklyset@TVEnthusiast.com. TV Enthusiast is a part of the Enthusiast Media Network. Stay tuned to TV Enthusiast and the Weekly Set podcast